Hi guys, how you doing? My name is Tom Antos, and in this video I wanted to show you a new gimbal from Gutsen. This one's called MOZA Lite version 2. I already did a review actually before of one of their gimbals, which was just a MOZA gimbal. It was much bigger, very good gimbal. You guys, if you guys want to see the review of that one, I'll provide the links in the description of this video. But this one is like their newer one, which is just a little bit more streamlined, smaller, not as heavy, so it's not gonna be able to handle as much of a payload as the other gimbal, but in return you're not having to carry as much with your arms. So this gimbal weighs in at around 4.8 pounds, that's just the gimbal by itself. So obviously whatever camera you add onto it, that will add to the weight. Also, it can handle up to 8.8 pounds. So as long as your camera, lens, and whatever other accessories you have under configuration is within 8.8 pounds, or below, then this gimbal will handle it. So it's kind of more aimed at like DSLM, like Sony a6300, for example, like smaller DSLM cameras, to like a6-7S, or even like a full-size DSLRs, like let's say the Canon 5D Mark III. This thing will handle, and it technically should even handle something like a Blackmagic cinema camera, for example. Now again, I don't know, the weight-wise it will handle it. I don't know whether it will fit it because I don't have that camera with me, so I could try it out. But anyway, so the gimbal itself, I'll tell you guys, in case you don't have time to watch the full review and you just want to know is it good or not, I'll tell you, it produces smooth shots. But I actually did have a bit of an issue when I first got the gimbal. So I don't know whether that was because I got like this early first version. I think it was a pre-production model. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe that's the reason why I had problems. But I'll just kind of quickly run through it. So I got this gimbal along with a few other gimbals from other companies, and I was kind of doing these tests, kind of comparing all of them next to each other. And this gimbal, right away I ran into a problem where after having balanced it, balanced the camera on it, and after I turned it on, basically it would start shaking. So when I turned on the gimbal, this whole thing would start shaking up here. And when I called the manufacturer and I spoke to one of their engineers, he basically told me to grab the gimbal by the handles, and just lift it up from there and see if that stops. And it did stop. So he basically said that the problem was the stand was basically not very good, was not sturdy enough. And that's one thing I will tell you right away, is that this stand, in a way, it's kind of cool. It's like a different design. Here, let me just take this off and it's gonna show you guys the stand by itself. So as you'll notice, this is kind of how the stand is. It folds like this, and then you fold these things too, and then you can also shorten these arms. So it's kind of cool how quickly you could say set it up. The problem is that because you have these two arms are basically independent, you can see that they're actually a little bit loose. They're not like, there's no way to tighten them up there. And so these two arms are a little bit shaky. So when the gimbal's on there and it's at full power, then what's going to happen is the motors are really powerful and they're trying to basically move a little bit, balance the camera, and that will cause this to shake. And once the stand starts shaking, then the gimbal in return starts to counter it, and then that's what causes the vibrations basically. So one of the engineers just told me, don't use our stand, which is kind of a little bit weird. But I'll tell you that if they could just fix this little problem with the basically here in these joints so it doesn't move, then otherwise I actually really love this stand. It's really cool actually, how it's easy it is to fold and stuff like that. Plus another really nice feature, which so far I've only seen in the DJI gimbals, is the fact that this one actually will work with a light stand, which when I was setting this up on location, it just makes it so much more easier, because otherwise you have to set up a stand on the ground or something. So I was able to put it up on a stand, and it worked beautifully. Now one way that I got around basically with these vibrations here is basically I just did what the engineer from Gutsen told me to do, which was he said that if I want to use the stand, that I should just reduce the power to the motors. which you do that by just connecting it via a USB cable that they provide to your computer and you install the software. It's very simple. And in there you basically, all I did is just 3 settings for the 3 motors, and I reduced it from 100 to I think it was 65, and that's when it stopped shaking. Now the problem with that was that then when I went to do my initial test with this gimbal, I mean, it looked like the gimbal was working, everything was fine, it was stabilizing it, but I guess there wasn't enough power. And so when I show you these shots up here, you guys will probably notice right away that basically the pitch motor, so basically that when the camera tilting up and down, that's what actually was there was not enough power in that motor. So you'll every so once see, especially when I was like moving the gimbal a little bit more, you're gonna see that the camera kind of tilts up and down, so it kind of creates this little bit like a wobbly feeling. And then when I was running with this gimbal at those settings, then it was definitely noticeable. So that was one really disappointing thing, because like I said, I went out there and I was kind of testing this alongside all these other gimbals, and then I happened to come back home, look at all this footage, and I was like, oh man, it's shaky. So then I went back into the software and I bumped up the power to around 80, I think it was 85 or 84, somewhere there. And then I went out again, did the test again. Now unfortunately I didn't have my model with me. So I just basically first person that I saw out there was actually these 2 girls that were willing to do it. I asked them if they wanted to act in my little video, and I got the shots, and as you'll notice now in these shots, it actually looks smooth. So the gimbal, yes, it produces nice and smooth shots, but you just make sure you don't want to turn the power too low. But at the same time, if the power is all the way at 100, it could start vibrating when you just turn it on while it's on the gimbal. So that's just something to keep in mind. But at the end of the day, if you're thinking of getting this gimbal, yes, it will produce beautiful smooth shots. So that is a nice thing. So like I said, I guess the negative thing I already kind of mentioned, which is the stand. In a way, there's a good and a bad thing about it. So hopefully with like a little fix or something with the next version, they'll just fix this little wobbliness in the stand, and then I can keep I wouldn't even have to change the settings in the motors. So that's the only really, I would say, negative thing, or the major negative thing. Other than that, my experience with this gimbal has been pretty good. It's overall very nicely just designed gimbal. There's no wires exposed anywhere. It's I mean, it has nice markings for example, here for the yaw adjustment. Also has markings here for the roll, the up and down. And now the only place where it doesn't have markings is for basically the back and forth movement on the of the camera. So that'll be also for the roll motor. But it's not a problem, because that's on a base plate, so you're going to be taking that out anyways. It comes also, base plate comes with these rails up here that you can attach. It comes with the rails. It also comes with the lens support, so in case you have a big heavy lens that maybe was wobbly, that will add extra stability, so that's really nice. Comes also with the power breakout box on the bottom, which is really useful. So it has a DC 5 volt 1 amp out. So if you have any USB basically accessories, you can power them. Plus it has a DC output of 14 volts, which and all of this draws the power from the main battery. But for that to work, because it uses a little DC plug, and let's say if you have, like usually I would think that this would be used for, let's say, powering like a wireless follow focus that will be attached to the rails. And those usually use P-tap or D-tap power connections. So in order to power that, off of that connection, you will need a cable like this, which I called them and they actually, sent me one of these. I don't think they're going to be including these with the gimbal, but I think you can buy them from them, or you could just make one of your own like this. Just buy something that has the 3.5 millimeter, DC power jack on cable, and then another one which has the female of the P-tap, and then just solder it together, and it will cost you, probably $5–10 maximum. That's if you know how to do that kind of stuff. If not, then you can buy a cable like this. How much it is, I don't know, but that's one thing you'll need. Now another thing they provide actually are these cables here to connect your camera to the gimbal, and that also connects here to the bottom of this, or the back end here of this breakout box. So you can see I have already one connected here, and that's for the USB control for Canon DSLR. So you would plug it into a USB on your Canon DSLR, and what that allows you to do then is, especially on the Canon cameras, like, you know, I have the Canon 7D up here, but this will also work with any Canon DSLR, T3i, 2i, Ti, or Canon 5D Mark III, for example. You can connect it, and you can then, using the joystick, you can start and stop the camera, which is really nice. And this is something I wish every gimbal had, because when you're holding the gimbal with your hands, the last thing, you know, and suddenly, like, let's say you're in the middle and you want to stop, worst thing is trying, you know, you have to grab the top with one hand and the other one, you reach for the camera, stop recording, then when you're ready, you start again, and then this, it's just so much easier to keep your hands on the handles, and then just basically click the button on the remote and just start and stop the camera. Not only that, but with the Canon cameras, and if you have a lens that's, for example, an autofocus lens that will be basically autofocus will be operated through the camera, then you can actually pull focus, which then makes this a really nice package. So you can pull focus here using this little wheel that's on the back of the remote. So it's a really cool thing. Now they also have other cables for other cameras. So you have one here for Sony A series cameras and for the Panasonic GH4. I haven't tried them, and I haven't tried a gimbal with these cameras. I don't know what kind of control you have. I know that they have, you know, you can start and stop recording. Whether it allows you to pull focus on those cameras, I don't know. But with the Canon cameras, you can pull focus, which is really nice, because then that means that you don't even need the wireless follow focus. You can just walk around and one person can, you know, point the camera and focus it. So really cool thing. And another thing it has here, provides, is like this kind of a nice, you know, smart battery. Will show you basically here the LEDs, how much power you have, and then it has a little release notch. Very simple, you know, you just put it here. Very similar to like the DJI or even the CameTV new gimbals. Put it here in the back, just slide it down, that's it, the battery's in there. Balancing this gimbal is fairly easy. You know, it has, like I said, the markings here. One thing I wish they had here is that basically when you release this, these knobs here, and you don't hold it basically, or you release it too much, this thing will just go down. So I wish there was like something, or more of a friction or something. Because when you're going in there making those fine adjustments, that can sometimes be annoying, when, you know, you're almost there, but then you loosen it and you forget to hold it, and then it drops, and you kind of have to start all over again. So that's one little minor thing. They also have a nice attachment here, so you can remove the handles, and you can attach this to a tripod or things like that, a crane. So it's very similar to, again, the way that you know, DJI gimbals now have, or even the Came gimbals, CameTV gimbals. So very nice little addition. You can remove the handles too. You can remove the top handle. It's very modular in that sense. And like I said, otherwise the gimbal itself is very sturdy, works well. And then the one really cool thing that it has is this remote control. So you can take it off, you can leave it on there obviously for one-man operation, but if you want to have, you know, a second person operating this, then you can do that too. And it's a very nice gimbal controller. What I mean by that is that, unlike most other gimbals, they just simply give you, you know, a simple, like a joystick to, you know, pan left and right the camera, and then a little button for changing the modes. This one gives you a lot more. It gives you options for changing the for example, different configurations for different cameras. So depending on what size camera you have, you can change that. Also what camera, whether you have Canon cameras, like I said, Sony A series or GH4, it's all supported and pre-programmed in here. You can adjust, for example, if you have a bigger, heavier lens, then you go change the settings in there, and that will basically just give more power to the motors. And so that basically it works with, you know, with different weights of different cameras. So that's a really nice thing. Allows you to change the speed right there here, and it's very easy to navigate through here because you have extra buttons. So it allows you to basically change the speed of the follow mode or change the speed of the joystick. Again, a really nice feature. Like I said, it has the record button, so you can start and stop recording. Has the follow focus button, knob here on the back. And it also has self-contained battery, so, you know, you just charge it here via a micro USB. So overall, I mean, it's a really cool, like I said, you know, a controller, cool gimbal. Now the last little thing that maybe is a little annoying to me, and that's actually the same thing that I found with the original, the MOZA gimbal, is that when you are using this joystick, for some reason, I don't know why, but you can go left and right, up and down, but you cannot go basically, you know, like in a corner. So basically go, let's say, have the camera go to the left and up at the same time. So you cannot go kind of slanted. You can basically, you would have to go left and then up. That's with the joystick. With the follow mode, it's okay. So that's the only thing that I wish that that they would fix, because like I said, all the other gimbals allow you to kind of go at every angle. So let me actually maybe turn on this gimbal and just kind of show you what I mean by that. So to turn it on, straightforward, you just press this the button here on the battery and just hold it. And there it is, it's turned on. And now I'm gonna just power the controller here. Press the on and off button, hold it. And now I can control the gimbal. So as you can see, I can go left and right without any problems. But if I go, you know, I mean, I can go up and down. But if I go at a corner, it doesn't. It either goes left or basically up and down. It does not do two at the same time, that's the only little, like I said, thing that bugs me. And again, maybe me, for, you know, if you're one of those people who doesn't really care much, or you know, or uses the controller for actually pointing the camera, you know, while you're walking with it, then I guess this will be okay. But if you do want to do like a real two-man operation and have the other person have complete control and be able to go diagonally instead of just left and right or up and down, then that's something that I hope they can fix, and I would think it's something that they can fix with a software, you know, upgrade. Otherwise, like I said, very, you know, really cool. It has a 2800 milliamp battery in there, so it's supposed to last anywhere from 4 to 8 hours. And again, that's kind of the same with all the gimbals today. The battery life will vary drastically depending on what size camera you have, how much power basically then you're sending to the motors, and also how well you balance the camera. If you did a really bad job balancing the camera, then the motors have to work extra hard, and then you're going to use up the batteries. I've used it for basically for about 2 days, and each day was around 3 hours. You know, not non-stop, but kind of over the course of a day, 3 hours, and never had any problems with the battery. So the same thing with the joystick. So I think for an average kind of a use during the day, I don't see anybody using it for more probably than 3 or 4 hours, anyways. Like I said, you shouldn't probably have to worry about the battery. But if you do plan to use it for more, then yeah, you would have to buy an extra battery. Otherwise, you'll see here, this is how the gimbal is. It definitely works, keeps the camera nice and steady. And like I said, I can go now with the joystick and I can change the options. So I can, for example, change the follow mode, because right now it only follows in the yaw. So here, left and right, but it does not follow up and down or tilt. So you can just change the mode here. So go, for example, you can change it to pitch and yaw. So now you can see it will follow left and right and then up and down. And you can also change it so it's all locked off, as you can see here. Doesn't change at all. Or you can even change it so it just follows in the pitch. So left and right it won't go, but it will go up and down. So that's kind of nice. That actually has those 4 profiles. And like I said, you can change the speed of those things. Now, one little thing I noticed, again, a little buggy thing with the remote is each time I would basically turn off the remote, or when I had it, basically the gimbal turned on and off, then those settings, it would basically all reverted to the default settings. So each time you had to change it. Now, like I said, it's not a big problem because the joystick works well. And it's very quick and easy to change those settings, but it's just something to remember, because I remember a few times, like I said, I was in the middle of doing something and I had to adjust the camera. I would just quickly turn off the gimbal, and then, you know, I powered it back on, hit record on the camera, and then started walking, and then I'm like, oh, the camera doesn't want to follow me. So then I realized, oh, it reverted back to the basically where it follows on the yaw, so left and right, but it did not follow on the pitch. So just something to consider, or just, you know, keep in mind. But other than that, great gimbal. Comes with also with with a protective case that's fully padded. And out of all the gimbals actually right now that I've tried, this one has the nicest padding in the case. It's like really sturdy. Now the only maybe downside is the case itself is, it's very good, like I said, very strong, protective. It's just maybe a little bit on the bigger side. It's definitely not as big as the DJI Ronin gimbal, but it's not as small as some of the other ones that I like. And for me, you know, I like the fact that the gimbal's small. It would be maybe nicer if the case was a little bit smaller. It would just make it easier to travel. But still, like I said, it's not a horrible size. It's just, like I said, it's not the smallest. Anyways, if you guys are interested in maybe getting this gimbal, you can get it now from B&H, Amazon actually too, even eBay, or directly from Godsend. So if you guys want, I'll provide all the links. You guys can check out the latest prices there and the latest deals. I'll also provide all of that, as always, is in the description of this video, or you can go to my website at tomantosfilms.com and you'll find all that information, plus a lot more. So if you guys have any other questions about this gimbal or any other gimbal even, just let me know in the comments section below. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on the little notifications next to the subscription button, so that you guys are notified each time I upload a new video. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this review of the Godsend MOZA Lite version 2 gimbal. Like I said, as always, you can find me on my website, which is tomantosfilms.com. Also, you can get in touch with me on Facebook and on Twitter. Anyways, thank you guys, and I'll see you next time.